Hi everyone, I wanted to make this little introduction before the video starts. This video is going to be pretty different from what I normally make. It could even be considered oversharing when it has to do with my body being postmenopausal and some intimacy issues that I've been having with my part-time partner, I guess. My ex and I have been spending more time together regularly. And so it has a lot to do with women's issues. So if it bothers you in any way, please just turn it off. But I think that it can be very helpful and valuable for women who are dealing with these issues as we get older, and also having this regard for their space, as well as being listened to, being heard, and being comfortable during intimacy. All Lilith issues. Hi everybody, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to my channel. I do not have my hat on. I colored my hair. It did not quite take, but yeah. So my name is Sabrina. I'm a witch. Today is Saturday and it is a Lilith day. And I honored her by lighting a candle. I also listened to a podcast by a channel. The woman's name is Anima Nawara. And she's only going to make a few more live streams and podcasts. And then she's going to go dark off of YouTube and a couple of other platforms. She's changing up the way she does things. She's had some trouble with attracting males who don't really appreciate or understand what she does. And even though she was on a platform where they had to pay, I guess she said she was having some scary, serious problems. So it was about Lilith and the things that people really need to learn if they're going to look at their Lilith. Like I have. I've looked at my Lilith in my astrological chart. They look at the mythology of Lilith, and a lot of men, she said, had come to her wanting a pact with Lilith for sexual domination, for her to be the mistress, right? Well, she's related to Saturn. Saturn is the great teacher, and it's going to oppress and dominate that person to the point where they're not going to want that anymore. However, when you get involved with making a pact for someone, which I don't think we really should do that, it's just not going to have the same impact on you, the person who needs to be making it. You tell them how to do it, what words to use, so that they can learn something and not go down a dangerous path. So yeah, it's a deep topic, and I listened to the second podcast today. I do think it's very, very good and interesting to listen to. But I look at my Lilith from my astrological chart, and I have the Black Moon Lilith in my second house of finance. Now, Lilith is about self-reliance and independence. So I have been struggling to make the extra money that I need right now to get caught up. And I have not really been taking anything from my ex. We have resumed a friendship, and it's been going okay, I guess, for maybe about 6 months, where I am seeing him more regularly. And I guess it's gotten to that point where you say, okay, this isn't working, right? Or let's take it to the next level. And something happened this evening that, again, he blamed me for, and I didn't do anything. I'm in my home, if I can share with you, okay? I'm in my home. This is my environment. And when he asked to come over and I tell him it's 4:30 and I've laid down to take a nap, and then I fall asleep and I wake up and I see on my phone, he's texted, well, how about 30 minutes from now? And I said, well, how about 30 minutes from 30 minutes from now, which basically is an hour. So he waited an hour, and then he had to drive 20 minutes to get here. I had told him that I need to color my hair. You know, I've built a life of my own for 12 years. So he comes to the door, and I'm in my towel, and I say, I'm coloring my hair. And my hair was all up, in a bun like it usually is, all wet and brown. And he says, oh, you went to the fitness room? Problem number one. Here we go. He's not wearing his hearing aid, and he refuses to get a battery. I said, no, I'm coloring my hair. Oh, he really doesn't care, okay? And so he comes in, he sits down at the table, and I've got the timer on, and I don't know how the conversation came up, but I'm sharing that there's someone in my knitting group who's having a friendship with an alcoholic. She's just finalized her divorce to her alcoholic husband of over 20 years, and she's attracted to someone who doesn't have friends and has befriended her, you know what I mean? And so she started becoming friends with her. So she's newly off on her own. And when I was an empty nester and I got involved with that younger lady over where I was in a vulnerable place. And so is this lady. So, she's finding out, this is the second time she said that she's started to help someone and then finds out that they are a bad alcoholic, and they don't tell the truth. They do run you around in circles, and you can't figure things out for months, that they really just have serious problems. And yeah, you've gotten yourself caught up and they have your phone number. So she said, yes, she's calling me 10 times a day. She's blowing up my phone. I'm trying to explain to her, I have a life, I have a busy life. Just because I'm retired and divorced doesn't mean I just want to have, one female friend all day, every day. Which is good. She wants to get out and have friends. So she was sharing with me, and she has been, even when she came over here, we had a really nice conversation about female things and her childhood. And I listen objectively, I learned that in Al-Anon. You listen objectively and you share if there's something that comes up that you have experienced, that you've learned and what you did. That's it. And I was just basically listening. I agree. Oh yes, I know. Yeah. And something happened similar to like that to me. And oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And she really appreciated it. She really appreciated the visit. So then when I see her at the knitting group, she sat next to me and she started telling me, oh, this female friend I've made, I've just found out she really is a bad alcoholic and she's really bothering me a lot. And everybody else was like, oh no, we're trying to have a pleasant visit here, right? And she said, I'm sorry, to bring this up, but I love you all and, I'm trying to figure this out. I said, oh, hey, I don't have any problem with it. You can talk to me all day long. Really. I understand. I got involved with someone a year and a half. Well, it's been like over 2 years now. And I was caught up in it for like a year and almost a half, I think. I said, but yeah, I've just been away from that for a year now. And I said, but I had more to learn. I really, really learned more. I don't know how it came up, but while I was waiting for my hair to process, we're sitting at the table here, and I can tell he's, just tolerating it until we're ready for, I've been taking natural replacement hormone therapy and learning about intimacy, and that's a part of who we are, and but it's just not. I don't do that for hire or for money. And while I appreciate the assistance, whether it's the food when I've been sick, and he knows I'm juicing and he brings way too much over. Or my car, he ran to Walmart yesterday because my brake light was out. He doesn't listen. He doesn't read my text completely, and the communication is bad. So, yeah, he ran all the way to Walmart for no reason. I'd already solved the problem. So, I hugged him and I thanked him for running over there. I was just looking at yarn. My car was fine. I changed the brake light bulb and everything was okay. And I want to talk about that a little bit too, because I averted getting a ticket from the police by chanting in the car really quickly. It was interesting what happened. So I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, it was becoming apparent that while we've had conversations about our marriage several months ago and things that we did and things that happened that weren't our fault, right? Like forgiving each other, forgiving ourselves, and being tolerant, he's still not able to listen to a story objectively. And when I told him that I couldn't figure out how to block this person on my phone, he all of a sudden freaks out. Why didn't you block her? Why didn't you block her? Oh, well, why did you have that friendship? Or why did it go that far? Or why can't you just block? I said, I'm telling you, I didn't have that option on my phone for some reason. So I had to go to Verizon. What'd you have to go to Verizon for? I said, I'm almost done with the story. What's the problem? I can't tolerate this. I just can't tolerate this. And it was all about him having to sit and wait because I was going to have to rinse out my hair, wash my hair, dry off my body. And it's becoming more and more apparent that it's really all he's been coming over for. And he can be giving and he can be helpful, But when it comes to coming over here, it's, there's not any more real conversation. He came over for Thanksgiving, but not until 3 hours later. And so we sat down and we ate. And it was clear, he didn't want to have conversation before and he didn't want to have conversation after. So Lilith is encouraging me today to just see it for what it is now and just keep plodding along, doing what I'm doing. DoorDash and my business, get some more yarn and think of new creative ideas. I made a cat bed and he said, I can't tolerate this. I can't tolerate these stories. And I'm leaving. Next time I'm going to call and see if you're in a good mood. You're in a bad mood. And that's another thing that I was always so hurt by. Throwing it back at me. Always. Never, ever seeing what I have to see it. I have to see it for what it is. And I propose that he was the one in a bad mood because I wasn't ready when he got here. Fantasyland. Welcome to Fantasy Island. So, yeah, I didn't have to ask him to leave. He left. And I think it's going to have to stay that way for a while. The past 6 months have been, fairly productive and good for us to talk about things that happened in the past and how, we have to not get so upset with each other or ourselves. And there he was doing it again for really no good reason except that it's just not at his convenience anymore. It's just not. And he was the one in the bad mood. I was finishing my story and he showed me on my phone. I go to contacts and see down there I can block. I don't have that on my phone. I said, that's your phone. I don't have that. You have to have it. You know what I mean? That kind of behavior. I still don't have it on my phone. So whatever the guy did at Verizon, I don't know, but he took my phone and he said, okay, it's blocked. So then I had to go to Facebook and unfriend her. Those things happen. He is a number 7. He's an isolationist. He does not get involved in friendships with people. It's sort of like being antisocial. And now Johnny Depp is that way too, but at some point he had to get involved with someone that was so much like his mother that he saw things for what they were and learned something out of that. But I don't have to put up with somebody accusing me of being in a bad mood, and he has to go out of his way to come over here, and I'm not, whatever. So yeah, if I meet another person, we'll see. If I don't, I don't. And I'm still going to continue taking my natural hormone replacement therapy cream because it's helping me with a lot of other symptoms. But yeah, that is, I think, what Lilith was showing me today, and the energies of Lilith, about her really being self-reliant. There is another aspect to this too that does have to do with Lilith, and I will share with you that I'm no longer able to be intimate in a variety of positions because I still have discomfort. And so the natural position is the way that was working for me. And he didn't want it. He wanted to be on top. And no matter how many times I've told him lately, I really cannot enjoy it that way anymore. It's not comfortable. The other way is much more comfortable, unless there's just been a few days where I was drinking no water and I forgot to put on my cream. It's just not the best position for me right now. That is so Lilith energy. So Lilith energy. I don't know. He was fine. He was fine with it in the beginning when I was able to be intimate again. And I hope this is not oversharing. There's got to be some other women out there that are older that have experienced this. And it's ridiculous for a man to say, no. What's the reason? So that is the Lilith energy for me. At my age, it's happening, okay? Because of my situation in my body. And yeah, who would think it? I guess he wants to be face to face, whatever. We're not married. He doesn't want to have conversations really about anything that I've learned. If he goes to Peru in a couple of months, is what he's saying, and he meets someone, that has addiction, then maybe he will learn a little something. But when I was dealing with my mom, he was like, oh, well, it's your mother. And I tried to explain to him, yeah, but she's just not showing any concern for me. And, she's just dominating my time and the conversations. And there's never anything good ever, and I mean literally never. And she would only be nice when I told her I can't answer the phone and listen to this anymore. And then within a few minutes, right back on her without any consideration of my life or my time. And I had no one helping me with the parenting. And he was working a different shift, so he was hardly ever there. And when I finally had to tell her, I just can't deal with this anymore. It was probably a year. And she had done something that she blamed me for. He didn't understand that either. Oh, well, it's your mother. So, it took me a long time to learn about enabling and all of these things that were happening. I went to Al-Anon. I learned how to share. But then, I met that person. And then I started watching, after I ended that, started watching the Johnny Depp trial. And that is where me and everybody else who watched it has really, really learned even more. Because not everybody's the same. They can hide things from you. And it's difficult to say, well, what are we going to do if we make friends with someone? Well, we just have to deal with it. We might have to get a restraining order, or we might have to block them. But yeah, I'm not an isolationist. I'm not antisocial. And most people are not. So these things happen. And if you can't talk about them with somebody else, don't give them your time. Just don't give them your time. It's not worth it. Find something you can do to keep your life going, to keep yourself going, and maintain your dignity and your respect. The ones that don't, that are truly caught up in this excess of everything in their lives, that are being promiscuous and being intimate and getting whatever money and resources that they want and need after that from that person, are in a very low, working from the base level of life. And that is what they are learning in this lifetime. We are all on different levels of learning and advancement. And even though, I've experienced a lot of things in the astral and gained a lot of life experience, it can be very difficult to find someone who's on the same level, that's not putting up with stuff just for whatever reason, food, money, whatever, right? Female independence is a little bit easier now than it was for my mother's generation. But, no one should be finding fault with a woman who has been really working on her mental and spiritual progress and doesn't find someone who can really match that frequency yet. So, for anybody who thinks I have a perfect situation and, lots of help or whatever, and never has difficulties, this is what's been going on for at least the past 6 months, when I've been really seeing him more regularly. So while there was some good that came out of it, now it's time for it to just dissolve. So that is the Lilith energy that worked with me today. And I hope that my honesty about the body changes I've been through and the things I've learned, some women give it up. They just don't have that intimacy anymore. And I don't know what their husbands are doing. But they don't care about it. They've lost their libido, and they don't think it's an important part to try to worry about dealing with anymore. Then I hope that they realize you still need to get rid of those other symptoms. And don't be with someone who's not going to regard you in whatever way, really, especially with intimacy. All right. I'm going to make another video after this, and I will see you soon.